Bobby,
This
do you want to
conference
record?
will now be recorded.
Go ahead, JP, please.
No, I'm just wondering, do you want to record as we are deliberating the speakers?
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
it's okay. Don't I've come across this thing in other groups where I haven't had a recording, and then we were wondering what did we decide, etc. After a while, we get used to it.
Okay.
Okay, good move. Young is the only guy I guess we're waiting for.
Yeah.
I just updated the calendar notice with the GoToMeeting information. Did make an error. Let me fix it.
You can kill your calendar notice or delete it starting next week or the back half of this week or something.
Okay.
So Bobby, you were asking for the feature, right? Like banner notice. Can you share the screen and show that the meeting is moved or something like this?
Sorry, say again, JP. I didn't understand the question.
No, so you're looking for the feature, right? To display some message. I'm wondering for now if you could share the screen that shows the banner message.
I don't have anything. I don't have the banner message. I have nothing.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, if you dial an 800 number or something, you get like a response, right? Saying, hey, you need the equivalent for a bridge is what I'm saying when nobody's sharing anything.
Right. Yeah, we could add that in.
So I've got everything that, we've got the bridge movement, we're recording and everything, and I'm done basically.
So we're like 15 minutes in.
Do you just want to do a regular hardware update? I think we're getting who we get today. It looks like Young can't make it.
Yeah, why don't we do that since we got the Nick out there?
Yeah. Vijay, do you want to share the update that you are testing?
Yes, JP. Good morning. Bobby, we had the Mellanox card. We got it yesterday. Kevin, thank you very much for sending it. We actually put it in and we tested with, we are able to sync up with the host, but we are experiencing the same problem with NXP. NXP is not seeing the card, either by 4 image or by 8 image. So we need to get some help from NXP to come and debug it and help us look at the registers to see what's really happening. So that's where we are at right now. JP, do you want to add anything more?
Yeah, Vijay, that looks like based on what you're saying, the same situation. But one thing I was thinking about it, the retimer, only if you force that to by 8 or by 4, it syncs up with the host, right?
That's true.
And so between, sorry?
Yeah, I mean, that is true, actually. With the previous
Yeah,
Broadcom card, without the retimer, we were able to go directly with the cable and get it synced up. But with the Mellanox card, we had to have the retimer. But if you put the Mellanox card in by 8 mode using the BIF bits, we are able to sync up only if the right image is installed on the retimer.
Right. So that means there is some issue with that with the by 8 or by 4 mode. It's not able to sync to that common denominator. Right. The original image, the retimer image is by 16, but it can go down to by 4. But somehow it's not able to do by 4 or by, right? Which means that same issue is what we are seeing in the NXP. The NXP is doing by 8, but it should go to by 4 by protocol if the PR is supporting only by 4, right? But
Actually,
it's not doing that.
no, that is true, JP. But when it comes to NXP to NXP, it's working by 4. So that is one thing that kind of is an anomaly from the way it is. But when maybe when they are interacting with some other source, if there is a protocol issue, they are not able to understand each other. That's why it's not going down. I'm not sure about that because between this, if I take the Mellanox card out and put the NXP board in, they are able to sync up at export Gen 3.
Right, right. It seems to be an interoperability issue. We need to get the NXP to have the by 4 mode enabled to test it further.
True, true, yes. Maybe they can actually force the NXP to go to by 4 mode, but they did give us an image, but there was some clocking issue with that by 4 image. So they said without the second clock, it won't work. So obviously, we can do it further, but they should be able to force the X8, X8 mode to a by 4 mode with a special image or a patch. So that's something that they could help actually, like how Astrolabs helped us with the image.
Yeah, okay. Can you request a meeting with the NXP, Vijay? Maybe we can discuss in person. This will be easier to understand. I understand they have a clocking issue, but we need to solve somehow, or otherwise, unfortunately, we need a board respin for the NXP.
Okay, sure. I'll actually, I have that email thread. I'll actually send it out, send out a request to Lee and, see who all needs to be invited and we can take it from there, JP. I'll do that.
Hey, I've got
Okay,
a
thank
question
you.
for you guys.
No
The
problem.
the NXP, you had an endpoint in by 4 mode, right?
RC in by 4 mode.
RC? No, but I thought there was an original image where it was an endpoint in by 4 mode.
I don't think, no, if their image is endpoint, I don't think we have a by 4 endpoint, Bobby. Endpoints were all just endpoints. And when we put the NXP to NXP, they automatically adapted down from by 8 to by 4 based on the number of connections that were there.
So I'm looking at the last,
We had all endpoints, but RC in by 4 mode.
and the RC in by 4 mode is not able to connect to either card.
Yeah, it looks like there is a problem. I mean, there is an issue with the NXP where when you put RC in by 4 mode, they changed the protocol, which actually requires 2 clocks, which is only available on slot A. On slot C, we do have clocks, but they need some other, there is some discrepancy there that wouldn't allow us to sync up. So, so I think the way to work around it is to ask NSP to see what's really happening. Why is it not going down and it's on when it's Mellanox, and why is it going down when it's NXP? So it looks like there is a protocol mismatch at that point. And then
Ouch.
Mellanox or Broadcom for that matter.
So this puts us in a way, is there any way to, there's no way for us to get anything to work now, is it? I mean, like if we don't communicate to the host, if we put the NIC in slot A and the NXP in slot C, can we at least use it as a no hostless board?
No, actually, unfortunately, with NIC on slot A, NXP is not connecting to the NIC at all, actually. But that's unfortunately the situation right now. Whether you have the host or not is not the issue at this point. We tried both actually, with the host and without the host. Both it's not connecting. I think there's a protocol mismatch because what you were saying that it is trying to train but it couldn't. I think the same is happening with Mellanox too. So NXP has to quickly look at it to see what the problem is, and then maybe they could give us a quick fix.
But there's no way we can get a by 8 from either slot to slot C, right? There's no
No.
magic way for us to get a by 8.
There's no physical connectivity, Papi. We only connected by 4 actually.
Because I thought we had 10 wires between the slots.
No, but that's basically the interposer doesn't have the connection, but the main slot does have it actually.
Oh, I see. Okay.
One thing we can request NXP is to, when they negotiate as by 4 itself with a patch, like how Astra Labs did it. They actually force their card to go by 8 or by 4 based on the image. Doesn't matter what the client and what the requests are, it'll actually force itself to go to by 4 or by 8. And then that way it was able to work. So maybe NXP could help us with something like that. But yeah, I'll invite for the meeting and then we can talk to them and see how we can actually get this solved.
Okay. So if the NXP card doesn't work, we're in some degree of trouble then.
Yes.
How would we correct the trouble?
Requesting NXP for a patch, Kevin. So we need to just get on a meeting with them and then discuss it and see, what could be the best solution to get this resolved.
You don't think a board spin is required?
Come again, sorry?
You don't think a board spin is required? You think we could
From
solve?
their perspective, if we couldn't really get it resolved, they might have to do a board spin. From our perspective, I think we are working right, and there's no issue with the protocol. Looks mostly like an issue with from the NXP side, actually. Because across Mellanox card and Broadcom card, the same problem persists. I mean, that's why we want to get on a meeting and then quickly ask them to turn on all the debugs and go into the register and have a look at it. But we do have remote access, so they could come in and have a look at the card and then let us know what exactly is happening. That way, we can quickly get things sorted out.
Do you want to just reach out to Peter or Sam to get something set up, or do you want to pop your right for that? What would you like to do?
Yes, Sam would help. JP, what will be the best approach? Any advice? I can send.
Yeah, Vijay can send an email, but if Bobby or Kevin can talk to Sam, I think that will add more weight.
The bigger question is, should we go ahead with the workshop if our PoC can't boot up?
That kind of defeats the purpose in my mind to
Yeah.
get fellow travelers on board. We have nothing to share with them. But we want fellow travelers on the train, but the train seems to be derailed at the moment.
The train, if the train's not moving, is it a dangerous thing to sort of bring a lot of attention to this? It's not, forget dangerous, maybe counterproductive.
I mean, it's not that it cannot be solved. It's probably the matter of time. I mean, either NXP would require a board respin to bring additional clocks, what they're asking for, or they can issue a software fix to try, right? I mean, I think for workshop, probably we can do the host connectivity, or if you have way, we can still do that NIC to that NXP connectivity through the network. We will not have a host connectivity, but we can still do via network. We can NIC can talk to the NXP to the SSDs.
Wait, how is this going to work again? What do you think? What are you thinking?
Yeah, the NIC, let's say we come to via network, right? And then the NIC can talk to the NXP. Except that any host connect.
Sorry, Bobby, go ahead, please. Sorry.
No, go ahead, please. Either one.
No, I was actually asking JP, how do we do that? Because physical connectivity from the NXP is right now not possible through Ethernet. So how do we do that?
No, I mean, only we have issue only if you put the NIC on slot A, right? And if you put the NIC on slot B, and we would have a connectivity between the NIC to the NXP.
Okay.
So when you put the NIC on slot B, okay, so that's a workable solution.
Okay, we can try that. Put the
So
NIC on.
Vijay, I think you tested the NIC on slot B and NXP on slot C. Were you able to establish the connection?
No, JP. Anything if the NXP is on slot C right now, we are not able to get connectivity because it uses the other one. I'll try it again with the Mellanox card too. But if it's on slot A, I think we got connectivity. So I'll actually try that again. So you see if I could actually.
No, I know you got on a slot A, NXP on slot A, but if you put NXP on slot A, we will lose the SSD, right?
That's true, actually. We lose the SSD. And also the problem is you have to have the host connectivity for NXP because you need 2 clocks for NXP to work. So the host clock is also required for it to come up and work.
No, NXP we want in slot C only. We need to see if that NIC on slot B and NXP on slot C, whether that works.
I'll try it again. Yeah, I don't think so, but I'll reconfirm. Actually, I need to test that.
So the only config I remember working was the NXP in A and the NIC and C, and the NXP could see the NIC.
Yes, that's true, Bobby. But I'll reconfirm on slot B too. But yeah, that's true.
Hey, I've got to drop to go to another meeting. I just sent an email to Peter and Sam, CCing Boppy, JP, and VJ.
So, Kevin, if you can wait for one more minute, I'm thinking that we shouldn't hold the workshop until we have something working somewhere.
I'm inclined to agree with you. And
or we have to dramatically reject the workshop, for which thing, if we just want to do accelerators, that still will make us postpone us into 2 more weeks. And either way, I don't see, unless we say something big changes, I don't see how we can hold a workshop.
Do you want to give the week out? I can't talk. If we can get this debugged and working this week, maybe we move forward, or do you want to pull the plug now?
Yeah, it takes at least 2 weeks of, in my mind, 2 weeks of, rounding up an audience. We're up 611. We were thinking 625. We'll have to. I don't see how we can go ahead right now.
So, Bobby, are you thinking about a demo in the workshop, like some kind of demo?
No, I was thinking like, we have no guarantee. We don't have a funded path to make the board work. So
okay,
we hold a workshop, we tell people to work on this, and what are they going to get? When are they going to get access? I just don't see a clear path right now.
Mm-hmm.
If there was one working configuration, I'd feel a whole lot better and say, okay, we got this working configuration. We can see what's going on. But I'm not seeing that right now. Right, and then so we say, hey, join us on working on the PoC.
We'll show you our broken board.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking one configuration. I'm just thinking aloud here. The Vijay, the slot A is NXP, slot C is also NXP, and slot B is NIC. That should work, right? The slot A to slot B communication should work, correct?
Yes, Bob. Yes, JP. I'll try that out. That should work actually.
If that works, we can do some. It requires some software effort because SSDs are not connected directly, but we can bridge that SSD through slot A, slot C via software, NXP software.
Oh, do we know for a fact that the device has that capability, or we think we can?
At this moment, it needs drivers. I don't think they have drivers, Kevin.
Okay.
That would need special drivers.
Yeah, it requires some software on NXP side to see. I mean, they're bridging two NXPs. One NXP will have access to SSD, the other will make use of that.
I do need a
Okay, so
balance.
but either way, maybe we should okay, so let's figure out what's working. If we can't figure something out by tomorrow, in my mind, we have to pull the plug on the workshop and the aim for the back half of July or something until we know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we have a contorted software architecture, we're going to get a lot of pushback. It has to be
No, this is actually a temporary fix until we have a solution, right? That's what I'm suggesting is only a temporary fix because
no, I agree. But then we have to get NXP's buy-in to respin the board, right? I mean, it's we have to see a clear path to a committed
correct.
path to making things right.
Right, yeah.
So we need something. Otherwise, I think we're in some degree of so maybe Vijay, we can figure out what configurations, if at all possible, work today.
Okay,
And
yeah, I'll do all the permutation combinations and I'll get back to you with the results. Connecting both, I mean, with NXP on slot A, we'll be able to connect both host and the NXP on slot C. But unfortunately, we don't have an image. I mean, we don't have the drivers on NXP to actually connect those two. That'll get it going for now at least. But that's, but then you don't have network connectivity. That's also an issue. So, I'll work all the permutation combinations, see which one works, and I'll get back to you. But I think NXP could act. I mean, they should actually quickly look at this and debug it, and then that way we'll know exactly what's happening. Maybe there is a fix. So, it's up to them to quickly have a look at it and get back to us.
yeah, so I'm looking. I'm looking at the last exchange you had with. I'm looking at the last exchange we had. Somewhere in here, there's a conversation about a by 4, right? Oh yeah, so we're able to verify PCIe by 4 from slot A. Somewhere it says you got an endpoint for slot A, right? You got an
Yeah,
endpoint by 4.
it doesn't force it to by 4. It's just all endpoints. So it just represents itself as all endpoints. And then we put RC as forcing RC as by 4 on slot C to see if it could work, basically.
Okay.
But when we do that, even NXP to NXP is not working because they changed the protocol for by 4, forcing it to by 4, and which actually requires 2 clocks. On slot C, we don't have both the clocks. So basically, that didn't come up, and that's when we went back to them, they said, "Oh, it won't work because we need clocks." So that's the issue. Even if we force it, they change the protocol. They have a protocol 2, protocol 3. We need to also need some clarifications into that. What do they mean exactly by protocol to protocol 3? And how does it, differentiate out?
Okay.
I think if NXP comes on board, they'll be able to quickly figure it out and advise us whether this is going to work or not, what it will take to get this going.
Makes sense.
JP, how do you feel?
Yeah, I agree with you, Vijay. I mean, we need to have NXP on board. Uh,
Okay. After the meeting, I'll send out an email request requesting for a meeting. Then I think if Peter and Kevin also comes on, I mean Peter and Sam comes on board, I think we'll be good. We'll see how quickly we can actually get this sorted out.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good, man. Then in that case, let's we should probably end here today and wait.
Yeah, I wanted to share some things with actually Young on the CIF model, but about the flows. So I'm not sure if you can give me some details on it. Can I like share my screen? Hello?
You should be able to share your screen, Ravi, but Young isn't here today.
Oh, all right, okay.
Young isn't here. We've got pretty light attendance today. Kevin
All
had
right,
to
okay.
drop off. And none of the
Okay,
NXP guys are here. But Michael's here from Samsung, but I think he's in a different group from Young, if I remember correctly.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I never seen him.
All right,
Sorry.
okay. Cool.
So, Bobby, regarding the workshop, do we decide about speakers and other things only after the issue is resolved, the NXP issue is resolved?
Well, I feel like we need to go, the workshop can go in one of two directions, right? We can either, I think there's broad interest in a storage acceleration workshop, in which case we just go ahead with one and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, that would be very different from what we have today. We would push it off by 2 weeks minimum. The other option is, if we have to go on our original path of like looking for fellow travelers in the software, but for that, I think we need more of a guarantee that what we have works. So I'm not able to see a clear path into holding the workshop right now in 2 weeks. I sort of pushed it off until a date I was hoping the PoC would start working, but such is life.
I'm not sure, but it looks like we need 1 month. Looks like it.
Say that again, Michael.
I think I'm like a newcomer here, and then it looks like
Yeah, I get what
we
you're saying.
have
Yes.
demo system stabilizing issue right now. The hardware there, I think better to have like 1 month to stabilize everything.
That's what it feels like. Hey,
Yeah, I think
JP.
it'll give time to do other things as well, like possibly invite other audiences as well if they want to talk.
Yeah. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed and see if there's a quick resolution. If not, I think we're in the space where you and Michael are, which is to push it back by a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, JP. I guess
Yeah.
Peter's responded, so if you or Vijay could please respond to him.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Vijay, do you want to take a stab at this, Vijay, or and reply to the same thread?
Sure, JB. Let me look at it. I'm not into my email now. Let me go check it and I'll have a look at it. Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, then let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's exchange some email during the week and see where we are.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Bobby.
All right, guys.
Sure. Thank you, Bobby.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.